Your phone lit up 3 times. None of them were him. You put it down. You pick it up again. You know exactly what you're doing. You can't stop. Then he texts back. Just K. And somehow, you feel this wave of relief, almost like floating. Wait, is that love? Or is that something you just can't turn off? Here's what I want to talk about today. Something most people never figure out even after years of relationships. The way anxious attachment works in your brain looks a lot like addiction. Researchers have found that the process closely mirrors how the brain's reward system operates. The craving, the anticipation, that brief hit of relief when you finally get a response, and then the waiting starts all over again. I'm going to walk you through what it actually is, what's happening in your brain when you're in this kind of relationship, and why trying harder, loving more, holding on tighter, sometimes doesn't help. It feeds the loop. If you're always the one who cares more, who's more tense, who breaks first, this video is for you. It's not the explosive kind of pain. It's the quiet kind. The slow drain. You've been staring at his last message for 10 minutes. K. 1 letters. You don't know if he's actually fine or just done with the conversation. You want to ask, but you don't want to seem needy. You tell yourself to let it go. You don't let it go. You lock your phone. 5 minutes later, you unlock it again. Nothing dramatic happened, but it happens every day, and it bleeds you dry, like a boat with a leak you can't find, slowly filling with water. But here's the part that surprises most people. This isn't about loving too much. Your brain is doing something that has almost nothing to do with love. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain. There's a classic behavioral psychology experiment called variable ratio reinforcement from B.F. Skinner's research. Here's what he found. If you press a button and get a reward every single time, you eventually get bored. You stop. But if the reward is random, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, and you never know when, you can't stop. You just keep pressing. That's the design behind slot machines. And it's the core mechanic behind most things people get addicted to. Here's the thing. Anxious attachment relationships often have this exact structure. Hot and cold. Close one day, distant the next. You never know when you're going to get that warmth, that confirmation that things are okay. So you keep waiting, keep testing, keep pressing the button. That K? It's the one coin that drops just often enough to keep you at the machine. But why do some people fall into this loop so much easier than others? That goes back to where this started. There's an experiment from the 1970s. Researcher Mary Ainsworth brought mothers and their toddlers into an unfamiliar room. Then, the mother left. Securely attached kids cried, looked for her, but when she came back, they settled quickly and went back to playing. Other kids were different. When the mom left, they fell apart. When she came back, they ran to her, then pushed her away, grabbed her again, got angry. Like the fear of being left didn't go away just because she returned. Ainsworth called this anxious attachment. Her work built on John Bowlby's attachment theory. Bowlby argued in 1969 that humans begin building a blueprint for connection in infancy. And a major part of that blueprint is shaped by how caregivers respond to us. Anxious attachment tends to form in one specific kind of environment, where the response was unpredictable. Sometimes warm, sometimes absent, sometimes fully there, sometimes completely gone. The child couldn't build the basic sense of, when I need them, they'll show up. So the brain learned something else instead. Stay alert, keep checking, because connection can disappear at any moment. That pattern doesn't stay in childhood. It grows up with you, and it walks into every relationship you have. So what happens when that pattern meets an adult relationship? I want to ask you something. In a relationship, how much of your energy goes toward monitoring whether it's safe, not enjoying being together? Monitoring. Tracking how fast he replies, reading the tone of his messages, running worst-case scenarios, lying in bed replaying the day's conversations, looking for anything that felt off. Here's the problem with that. The more energy you spend scanning for threats, the less you can feel what's actually good. You're looking through a magnifying glass for danger, and you're going to keep finding it. And then there's the part that's harder to hear. Your tension? He can feel it. The more anxious you are, the more reassurance you need. The more reassurance you need, the more pressure he feels. The more pressure he feels, the more he pulls back. The more he pulls back, the more anxious you get. Nobody's doing anything wrong, but this loop will exhaust you both. And there's something even more important, something a lot of people confuse with love. I want to help you separate two things that can feel identical from the inside: genuine love and anxiety-driven attachment. Real love flows from security. You want closeness, but you can handle distance. There's actual joy in it. There are boundaries that feel natural rather than painful. Anxiety-driven attachment can feel more intense than love because it runs on fear, craving, and the highs and lows of that reward loop. Its fuel isn't, "I love being with you." It's, "I'm terrified of losing you." That doesn't mean your feelings aren't real. They are, but some of that intensity, it's coming from the anxiety, not from love itself. Seeing that difference isn't about dismissing everything you felt. It's about starting to understand what you actually need. So, can this actually change? Yes, but not by trying to quote-unquote care less. That doesn't work. Step 1, name what's happening. The next time you feel the urge kick in, to text, to check, to replay the conversation, pause. Ask yourself, did something actually happen? Or is my brain just running an old pattern on autopilot? Just being able to ask that question is already something different. Step 2, practice the pause. Anxiety pushes you to act immediately. Send the message, seek the confirmation, ask for reassurance. Those things work short-term. Long-term, they reinforce the loop. Try letting the anxiety exist without acting on it. This isn't about suppression. It's about giving your nervous system a chance to learn something new. Step 3, bring the focus back to yourself. People with anxious attachment spend a lot of energy tracking the other person. Try redirecting some of that toward yourself. What am I feeling right now? What do I actually need? You are the most important person in this equation. If you've made it this far, you might be thinking, okay, but knowing this doesn't make me stop feeling it. You're right, it doesn't. But here's what does shift. The next time you reach for your phone, ready to send the message you've already typed and deleted twice, you might pause for 1 second. Just 1 second. In that second, you'll know, this isn't love pushing you, it's anxiety. And you get to choose, follow it or wait. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to be able to pause for 1 second. That's where it starts. If this hit close to home, leave a like. You don't have to explain it. And comment "loop" below. The self-assessment link is in the description. Takes 2 minutes, tells you a lot.